Good morning, class. Today I will talk about another one act play that is prescribed for your syllabus. The title of this play is Chitra, and it is written by uh, one of the greatest Indian uh, writers, Rabindranath Tagore. Right. Uh, Tagore was born in 1863 and he died in 1941. He was the great Indian poet, dramatist, novelist, short story writer, essayist, painter, philosopher, musician, and one major figure in the Indian freedom movement. He was also an educationist, and his greatest contribution to this field is the establishment of Shantiniketan. He had been awarded the highest literary prize of this world, that is, Nobel Prize, for his collection of poems called Gitanjali. It was written originally in Bengali, his mother tongue, and later on translated into English. So he won a Nobel Prize in the year 1913. He wrote in Bengali as well as English. His important works are the dramas like Valmiki Pratibha, Dak Ghar, um, and a trilogy of plays which were the dance dramas Chitrangada, Chandalika, and Shama. Okay. Kabuliwala and August are his famous short stories. Gora and Gare Baire are the famous novels written by Tagore, and of course, Gitanjali is the collection of poems. He wrote around 2230 songs, which is a part of, which is collectively known as Rabindra Sangeet, and it is very popular. It's a kind of classical music in Bengal. Chitra, Chandalika, and Shama are his famous dance dramas. Um, Dance drama where dance spectacle and the songs is the are the major elements of this type of play. He had written the play Chitrangada in Bengali in the year 1892 and translated it in English as Chitra in 1912. That is around 20 years after the original was written, that is in Bengali. This dance drama is a one act play based upon one of the episodes from the great Indian epic Mahabharata. In fact, many Indian writers have been writing their poems, plays, novels with Ramayana and Mahabharata stories or episodes as the source. That is, so much of Indian writing in English takes its inspiration from various episodes, various myths that are there in the two great Indian epics known as Ramayana and Mahabharata. Tagore's next play in this series of Nritya Natya, that is dance drama, has its source in one of the Buddhist myths. Tagore also had been inspired by the Buddhist myths, that and especially the myth about one of the greatest and closest disciples of Lord Buddha, that is the monk Anand. Many Indian writers also write their stories, their writing inspired by Puranas, Buddhist mythology, the Jataka tales, along with Panchatantra tales, along with Ramayana and Mahabharata. But what makes this writing special is the unique touch of that particular writer, because each and every writer adds his own creativity, her own touch of the genius to that age old tale which is there in maybe in Ramayana, Mahabharata, Puranas, or Panchatantra or Jataka tales, all sorts of ancient writing that we have, and that is transmitted to the present generation many times orally and later on deliberately in the form of the word. And another important feature of this writing is that these writers, when they are inspired by the Ramayana, Mahabharata, Jataka, Panchatantra tales, they use these tales, they use these episodes with a current relevance. That is, they take a present issue, a present problem, that is problem of conflicts or issues of the modern times, and they relate this situation to the ancient literature, or what was there in that ancient literature. Apart from Rabindranath Tagore, one important modern writer, Indian writer, who uses this myth and he turns it into a masterpiece is the great writer, dramatist of the modern Indian theatre, Girish Karnad. And his masterpieces like Yayati, Hayavadan, Nagamandala, and Tughlaq. They sometimes they use Ramayana, Mahabharata, some legends, or some historical figures like Tughlaq. So, and for the writers like Karnad, Tagore was the pioneer or precursor. That is, he has started this. He used this practice earlier. That is, this practice of turning to the Indian myths and legends for his works of art. So, Chitra Chitra belongs to this tradition of Indian writing in English, where the writer takes its story, the basic story, the original story from Ramayana, Mahabharata, or Jatak or Panchatantra tales. So this present one act play Chitra is based upon one of the episodes in Mahabharata, and that is related to Arjun. Arjun, who is the third among the Pandavas, that is third among Kunti's 5 sons, okay, and he is the greatest archer, Dhanurdhar, and the third of the 5 Pandavas who were married to Draupadi. So we know that Yudhishthir, Bhim, Arjun, Nakul, and Sahadev, these 5 Pandavas, that is son of Kunti and King Pandu, they are, and of course the second wife of Pandu, that is Madri. So Kunti and Madri, they had these 5 sons known as the Pandavas, right, and they were married to a single woman, that is Draupadi. It had been decided that Draupadi's period as a wife to all the 5 is fixed, during which no other brother should disturb that couple's privacy. So when, for example, if Draupadi is with one brother, say Dharmaraj or Yudhishthir, then the other 4, they will not interfere, or they will not go there or disturb that couple for 1 year. So for 1 year she will be totally with one brother among the Pandavas. So it is their agreement among themselves. It was decided. While during one such period, what happens is, when Draupadi is with the eldest of the Pandavas, that is Yudhishthir or Dharmaraj, Arjun accidentally comes in when Dharmaraj and Draupadi are there, actually there is the story that some Brahmins cattle were attacked by some people, and in order to rescue those, Arjun wanted his weapons, and to take those weapons he hurriedly goes inside the palatial room where Dharmaraj is spending his time with Draupadi. But he has broken the agreement, that is Arjun, and for that reason he has to repent, he has to accept something as a kind of punishment. So when Arjun goes there, it is said that Draupadi and Dharmaraj, they were playing dice Dyutkrita. So now this is an important trope or important metaphor in the whole of Mahabharata. It is the most crucial thing, that is the game of dice, that again leads to the final war, on the epic war between Pandavas and the Mahabharata, Pandavas and the Kauravas, because of which the whole of the clan is wiped away, they were killed. So as per the prior arrangement, now Arjun has to undertake the penance, he has to repent, he has to accept some punishment by going away from Indraprastha palace. Indraprastha is the newly established capital of Pandavas. It's a very beautiful capital city situated, that is established, built up, constructed by the Pandavas. And he has to go into the wandering, that is, he has to go away from the life of comfort. And during this period, he goes first to the land of the people called Nagas. It may be the present Nagaland, where he marries Ulupi. Okay, so when he goes to the Nagas, land of the Nagas, that is Arjun, he marries Ulupi, who is his second wife. And later on, he reaches the land of Manipur. After this, he goes to Manipur, King Chitravahana's kingdom. And Manipur, the ancient Manipur, was ruled by a king, a great king called Chitravahan. And there he falls in love with the king's beautiful daughter Chitrangada. That King Chitravahana of Manipur had a daughter, a beautiful daughter, whose name was Chitrangada, and Arjun falls in love with that princess and asks her hand in marriage. The king agrees, Chitravahan agrees, but with one condition, that the firstborn son of his daughter, that is Chitrangada, will be the heir will be the inheritor of his kingdom, and because it was the practice of their land, since he had no male heir. Now this is the important point as far as the ancient myth is concerned, Mahabharata myth is concerned. That is, King Chitravahan of Manipur had no male heir, had no son, and that's why, as per the tradition of that land, the first son of his daughter will be the heir, will be the next king after King Chitravahan. And Arjun agrees this and marries Princess Chitrangada and remains there for 3 years, during which a son is born. After 3 years, Arjun resumes his wandering as a sort of penance and reaches his cousin and friend Lord Krishna, okay, where he marries his 4th wife Subhadra. So after coming out of King Chitravahana's kingdom, after being a father of a son from Chitrangada, Arjun goes to his next place, that is the land ruled by Lord Krishna, and there he marries Subhadra. So Subhadra is his fourth wife. So far Arjun has four wives. The first one, of course, is Draupadi. Then Ulupi, that is, she's from the land of the Naga people. The third one is Chitrangada, and the fourth one is, of course, Subhadra. So, this is the original Mahabharat myth. In the next video, we will discuss the present play, Chitra, one act play, the dance drama by Tagore, and how Tagore uses this dance drama to create a masterpiece one act play like Chitra. So we'll continue tomorrow. Thank you.